Okay, students, so we have talked of the introduction to cell division in the last class, right? And today we will be specifically talking about mitosis, okay? The first type of cell division. So, I'll just first introduce you to mitosis. Now, mitosis, as you all know, the term mitos means threads, right? And this type of cell division, which occurs in the somatic cells, has been named so because once a cell enters the division cycle, it first of all, the chromosomes, they appear to be in the condensed form and they appear to be like threads, right? So that is why it is given this name, mitosis. Now, mitosis actually consists of four distinct phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Okay, we'll be talking specifically about the changes in morphological changes in the chromosomes and the distinct changes in the behavior of cell that can be observed in each and every of this phase. Once we'll take up each and every phase separately, right? Now, when a cell is in a non-dividing state, we have already talked of the cytoskeleton, where I have told you that in the non-dividing state, the microtubules are arranged in such a way that they maintain the organization of the cell. But as soon as the cell enters this division phase, the cytoplasmic microtubules, they disassemble and arrange in the form of the spindle microtubules that forms the mitotic spindle. So the mitotic spindle is actually an apparatus of microtubules that controls chromosome movement during mitosis. Now, cell division is mainly characterized by the distribution of duplicated chromosomes to daughter cells, right? So, these spindle microtubules, they actually bind to the kinetochore regions of the chromosomes and carry the chromosomes to the opposite poles. The spindle arises from the centrosomes and includes spindle microtubules and the asters. Some spindle microtubules attach to the kinetochores of chromosomes and move the chromosomes to the opposite poles, whereas the non-kinetochore microtubules form from opposite poles, overlap and push against each other, thus elongating the cell. Along with the movement of the chromosomes, the you will see these centrosomes, and they also, these poles also, they move apart. So actually, it is because of these non-kinetochore microtubules only. This will become very clear to you if you will take a look at this diagram, where you can see how the kinetochore microtubules, okay, they are actually attached to the kinetochores of the chromosomes, and these spindle microtubules, which are actually bound to the chromosomes, they carry these chromosomes to the opposite poles. You can see the asters here, and these overlapping spindle fibers or microtubular structures are called the polar microtubules. Okay, and you can see the centrioles here, from which these spindle fibers arise. Okay, now you can just take a look at this diagram, where you will see a cell first in the interphase, where you can see here the centrosome bearing the centrioles and the nuclear membrane being intact, and the cell is in the non-dividing state. We have already discussed the cell cycle, where we have talked of the events of the G1S and the G2 phase. Now, as soon as the cell crosses the G2 checkpoint and enters the M phase, the first instance that occurs, or the first phase that appears, is the prophase, where the cell actually first of all condenses its chromosomes, and then again we'll talk of the different behavior. Then from prophase, the cell moves to the metaphase, and during prophase you'll see there will be breakdown of the nuclear envelope, assembly of the spindle microtubules and everything. Then in the metaphase is characterized by the alignment of all the chromosomes at the equatorial plate being bound to spindle fibers from both sides. Then during anaphase, the centrosome dissolves, the centromere dissolves, and the sister chromatids they start moving to the opposite poles. And finally comes telophase and the cytokinesis, during which these duplicated chromosomes they have actually moved to the opposite poles, and you'll see the cell getting back to the prophase state again, where you will see the regeneration of the nuclear envelope and the decondensation of the chromosomes, and finally the cytoplasm again dividing into two, and the cell being distributed into two different cells, just where you can see this equatorial plate here. From here the cytokinesis occurs and the cells they divide into two. So this is a common diagram where you can see all these stages of a cell undergoing division and the changes in the behavior of the nucleus from starting from interphase till telophase. Okay, so now let's begin with each and every stage one by one. We'll first talk of the prophase. Okay, the prophase is the first phase of mitosis, which is characterized by first of all condensation of the chromosomes. Now you see during interphase the cell is very active metabolically, right? And we have talked about all these things in our lecture on cell cycle, but I have told you once the cell enters the M phase, it just concentrates on distributing the duplicated chromosomes to daughter cells, right? The cell does not perform or does not focus on all other biochemical events because this is for a very short duration. We have talked of a cell, suppose, which completes its cycle in 24 hours. So the cell, that particular cell spends only 1 hour during the M phase. Okay. So now once a cell has entered the M phase, it has to distribute its duplicated chromosomes to daughter cells. Then the first thing what the cell does is, since it does not have to perform any replication or transcription or translation, it condenses its, you can say, the chromosomes. The chromatin is in a highly condensed form called the chromosomes, which is the package form of the chromosomes, so that during the distribution of chromosomes to daughter cells, there is no damage in DNA and all the chromosomes are equally distributed to the daughter cells, so that none of the cells is lacking any genetic information. So we'll take a look at the characteristics of the prophase. Now, the first event, that is, the chromatin becomes more tightly coiled and condensed into the form of chromosomes that consists of two sister chromatids. Then, the mitotic spindle begins to form because finally the chromosomes have to align themselves on the equatorial plate and get connected to these spindle fibers, which will actually carry them to the opposite poles. Centrosomes move away from each other to the opposite poles. Then finally, once all these assembly of spindle, you can see it occurs in the cytosol. And the eukaryotes are characterized by a nuclear membrane where the genetic material is stored. This means all these chromosomes are actually residing in the nucleus. Now, in order for the chromosomes to be transferred to the cytosol so that they can bind to these spindle fibers, the degeneration of the nuclear envelope is very, very necessary. So the next important event that occurs here is the nuclear envelope disintegration. So this nuclear membrane actually disintegrates, degenerates, and the nucleolus disappears. Okay. Now, as soon as this nuclear envelope is degenerated, the chromosomes are scattered in the cytoplasm, and the spindle fibers, they look for the kinetochore microtubules. Actually, they look for the kinetochores of the chromosomes, and a spindle fiber from each pole actually binds to the kinetochores of each and every chromosome. Then comes the metaphase. Okay, now you can see here the picture of the metaphase, where you will see that all the chromosomes are well aligned on the equatorial plate, and the assembly of the spindle microtubules is completed. You can see here the kinetochore microtubules, which are attached to the kinetochore of each and every chromosome, then the overlapping polar microtubules, and the aster, astral microtubules arising from each of the centrosomes. So metaphase is a short period in which the chromosomes are lined up on the equator of the cell, usually also called the metaphasic plate. The sister chromatids arrange themselves at the metaphase plate. The centrosomes align at the opposite poles, and the spindle fibers are attached to the centromeres. Okay, so I hope prophase and metaphase are clear to you. Okay, any questions on this? Okay, so let's move ahead to anaphase. Now, once all the chromosomes are well aligned at the equatorial plate during metaphase, the cell is well informed that each and every chromosome is well bound to the spindle fibers. The next event that marks the beginning of anaphase is the dissolution of the centromere. Okay, so in anaphase, the centromere dissolves, and the two sister chromatids, now they are separate, and they can be easily, these daughter chromosomes you can see here, they can be easily carried to the opposite poles by the spindle fibers. So the sister chromatids separate and move away from each other, and then the spindle fibers, they contract, and the chromosomes are pulled to opposite poles towards the centrosomes. Okay, and these microtubules are actually associated with microtubule motor proteins that actually provide the force and help the kinetochore microtubules carry these chromosomes to the opposite poles. Then the last phase is telophase. Okay, in telophase, the cell actually divides. Okay, you can see here this cleavage furrow, which is pointed at each end of this equatorial plate, and it is actually this location from where or at which the cell is going to divide into two. The chromosomes have actually reached, or the sister chromatids, the duplicated chromosomes have actually reached or are at the opposite poles of the spindle. Then the spindle disintegrates, okay, because now the cell knows that cytokinesis has started, and the cell is going to divide into two, and each and every cell now has to start its own cycle and enter into interphase. Then finally, the chromosomes are again packaged in the nuclear envelope. So the nuclear envelope reforms around the two sets of chromosomes. Okay, the formation of nuclear envelope is not shown here clearly in this diagram, but once all the chromosomes they have reached to the opposite poles, they will be in the decondensed form, there will be a nuclear envelope, and they will again enter into the interphase of the cell cycle. Okay, now the we have, again I'll just go back to the previous slide and tell you that we are always talking of, cell division is never complete with only the nuclear division. Cytokinesis is very, very important because this actually divides the cell into two. So now we'll talk of cytokinesis. Now, you know, eukaryotes are basically classified either into the plants or animals. Now, plant cells are characterized by a well-defined cell wall. So, the cytokinesis in plants and animals is a bit different. So, we'll talk of cytokinesis in plant cells first. Now, you can see here in this diagram, I'll just zoom it for you. You can see that there are small vesicles. Okay, yeah, here you can see the two nuclear envelopes being reformed. So they are actually representing the duplicated nucleus, you can see. Okay, so now here at the equatorial region of the cell, you can see very small vesicles. These are actually Golgi vesicles. Okay, that actually carry all the polysaccharide content that is required to form the cell wall of plants. And these vesicles actually fuse and form a cell plate. So it can be very clearly seen under a microscope. Okay, and the presence of a cell plate actually is an identification mark that it is a plant cell which is actually dividing. So you can see here the growing cell plate. So with the fusion and addition of more and more vesicles carrying the polysaccharide content, the cell plate is formed and it actually divides the cell into two. Okay, so cytokinesis in plant cells is characterized by vesicles containing cell wall material, that is cellulose, which are derived from Golgi apparatus, and they move to the middle of the cell, that is at the equatorial plate. These vesicles, they line up at equator and then finally fuse, producing a structure which is called the cell plate, as you can see here. The cell plate enlarges and fuses with the parent cell membrane, forming two new cells. The cell plate becomes new cell wall between the two cells. Okay, so did you get this? What is the cell plate, and what is the difference between cytokinesis in plants and animal cells? Okay, now let's talk of cytokinesis in animal cells. In animal cells, the cytokinesis occurs by furrowing. Okay, it is actually like pinching the cell membrane uh, at the equatorial region, so that the membranes from the two sides, they actually fuse and divide the cell into two. Okay, in a very simple way, you can just imagine furrowing to be like this. Okay, so in animal cells, and this actually occurs through a ring formation, a contractile ring at the equatorial region is formed by the actin and the myosin protein. Okay, this is a contractile ring which contracts and actually fuses the cell membranes from two sides, dividing the cell into two. So in animal cells, a ring of actin fibers, that is microfilaments, are composed, which are of actin. It forms around the cell equator and contracts, pinching the cell in two halves. Okay, you can see it here. Okay, and this is called the cleavage furrow. You can see this contractile ring of the microfilaments, that is the actin fibers here, which finally divides the daughter cells into two. So animal cells have centrioles and plant cells do not have centrioles. In animal cells, cytokinesis occurs by the constriction of microtubules, which is called the cleavage furrow. Okay. However, in case of plant cells, cytokinesis occurs by the growth of a cell plate through the fusion of the vesicles. Okay. So these are the major differences which are highlighted in blue between cytokinesis in plant cells and animal cells. And you just have to remember that in case of plant cells, there is formation of a cell plate through the polysaccharide contents which are carried through the Golgi vesicles at the equatorial region, whereas in case of animal cells, a contractile ring of the actin fibers forms a cleavage furrow that divides the cell into two. Okay, so this is all about mitosis and cytokinesis. Thank you so much. We'll talk about meiosis in the next class.